Welcome to an out-of-the-box playthrough. Today I'm going to be playing some solo Netrunner. So Netrunner was a game that was released in the 90s by Richard Garfield of Magic the Gathering. It was very popular at the time, and then it was re-released in 2012 as Android Netrunner. So the whole cyberpunk Shadowrun was re-envisioned in the Android universe, and there's a couple of games that are also available in Android. And it's a two-player game where one player plays a runner who's hacking into a corporation, and usually you swap over. So you play one game with a runner deck and see how many agendas you can steal, and then you play as the corporations, the Corp, and you try and score agendas or try and kill the runner. Kind of tricky to play solo, but I found a really neat solo variant, and that's what I'm going to look at today. So this is a solo variant called Cracking the Code, and what this involves is an automation of the corporate hand. The runner deck, you run it as a player, and that is pretty much unchanged. And so there's a neat thing about it that you can practice your runner decks against an automated corp. So the Corp splits its cards into the different aspects, and so you probably can't see very well, but under here it says these are the ops, these is the ice, these are the upgrade cards, and these are the servers. So I've picked a Jintiki Corp deck that I'm trying to play against, and the way that the Corp automation runs is using Scrabble tiles. So you have a bag and you have Scrabble tiles that make up the tiles, the code that the Corp is trying to complete, and then as a runner these are the tiles that you are trying to steal. And so we still try and steal agendas, but when we get agenda points we actually score tiles off the board. And every turn for the corporation you draw a new tile out of your bag that tells you how many credits the Corp will get, and there's a set of operations for when you place them, and this will be very obvious once I start the turn. So everything's driven by the tiles that are in there. I've already played one turn because I thought I'd get things going. So my first turn, the Corp starts first. It drew an S, so I placed it there. It got one credit because they get one, and then it got to play some ice and draw an ops card. So under each of these tiles is a set of actions that they will do. When the whole password, in this case the code group, is full, the Corp wins, and if we can fill our one by stealing agendas, then we win. One of the other neat things is that because a lot of the game is determined by hidden cards, particularly agenda cards that might go into remote servers, the Corp has the opportunity to score agendas just before they're accessed. Anyway, we'll see some of that as we play through it. Anyway, it is turn 2, and it is time for the Corp to draw a tile. Oh, okay. And if you get a tile that matches an empty one, you have to place it there. If not, it's the runner's choice, but we'll see more of that later. So that's a 4, and so that means we get 4 credits. So we'll add 4 credits to our Corp for spending, and we get ice. We get to make a server, we get to do an advance, and we can purge any viruses if we had any. So we have to play ice, and there's a little table here for the ice placement. So we'll draw another token, and we get a 1. So that would go under least protected, and because we have no other servers, we will stick that on our R&D. So R&D is now our whole hand. Then our second one is we will put our server out, which is going to be very tempting for me. And then we would do an advance, so we get an advance token that can sit there for later on. And that's the end. Then it's my turn. So then I've got choices. My first turn I installed a Magnum Optus so I can get some I can get some credits. And it's kind of dangerous having a go at that because it could be something nasty. The other thing to keep in mind is that for every agenda point you steal, you get to take a token, which is fine. But if there's not enough tiles, you basically overload and take brain damage. So if I went for that agenda and it was a 4-point agenda, I would have to take 3 brain damage because there weren't enough tiles to pick. And then every tile you get, you have to place. And if you place it on one of the values you're looking for, all good. But if you place it on one that is different, you take a net damage for the value that it is and the value that it goes. So if I stole those two, none of them are H, I, R, or O, so I have to place them on the board. And so I would take, if I put the W on the O, I would take 5 net damage, and if I took the S on the 1, I'd take 2, so I would take 7 net damage. And that would pretty much kill me. So I'm not going to be running for that agenda, because that would be a very dumb thing to do. So I'm looking at my cards and thinking of what ice I've got. I've got a link card. I've got no break. I've got 1 breaker. The problem with this is it's a 2. I haven't got enough. So I'll use 1 action to gain 2 credits. And then I am going to install the battering ram. That's another action. So I get my normal 5 actions as a runner. That's going to cost me 5. Then I use another action to get 2 more back using my Magnum Optus. And then I'm going to use my last action to draw a card. Oops. And I get a Gordian Blade, which is a code breaker. So that's pretty good. So that's my turn over, my 4 actions. Back to the corporation. Let's see what they're doing. And they get an R. So they've got an R, so they can go there. And they draw another. They get 1 credit for the 1. Then they're going to make a new server. And then they're going to put some ice. And let's see where the ice is going to go. It is going to go on a 1, which is the least protected. So we'll stack a piece of ice on that one. And that's the end of the call. So it's my turn. I can use the R. You know what I'm going to do? I need some more memory. That's what I really need. I've got an event because I'm kind of full at the moment, so I'm going to use my Magnum Optus to get 2 credits. Then I'm going to draw a card, and if I get something useful, I get a mem chip, which is pretty good. Oh, I forgot. I'm using Kate McCaffrey, so she lowers the cost of the first piece of program or hardware each turn. So I'm going to put in my mem chip, so that's free. And then I could install Code Gate Breaker, because now I've got 5 memory. That's going to cost me 4. And then I'm going to use my Optus to get another 2. So it's the usual thing, a bit of a race. Now it's Corp's time. Of course, if they fill up password before I'm ready, then it gets messy. Okay, D. So they're going to get 2 credits. And so they're going to have a big bank. They get a bit of ice. And that's going to go on 1, which is the least protected. Oh, I need a bigger table. And I get another server. I'm going to put my discards off the table. Put another server over here. And we get another advanced token. So they work in that if I go to score a agenda, they can try and advance it first. So I'm a little bit worried, because if they get 3, they'll be scoring things. That being said, I don't want to take too much damage, but I can use the R, and I would take 6 net damage on those, so that would kill me. So there's no point running yet. unless I can expose some cards. Okay, my turn. I'm going to draw another card. Oh, now I've got a problem. This is a great one. So Crypsis, it will break anything. It just costs you, and you have to put a virus token on it. It's going to cost me 5, so I will use my Optus to gain 2. I can use my Kate McCaffrey, so that's that one. What do I throw out? I'm probably going to throw out my Code Gate, my barrier routine, my jackhammer. It's expensive to use. I'd rather have that, because that uses 2 memory as well. So that's going to cost me 5. So that's 4 from there, and an action. And my last action, I'm going to stick a virus counter on here, so then it's usable. Because when you use it, you have to either remove a hosted virus counter or trash it. And you don't want to trash it because that will be a problem later. And that's the end of my turn. Now we're getting a little bit desperate. We get an S, so that goes in. So if I got all of these, all the password and hiro are in here. If I got one of my ones, it just goes, I get to choose where it places, but of course I can then determine what's going to happen. But since it's an S, it gets 1 bit of ice thing, and it's going to get a piece of ice, and that is going to go at 1. Less protected, so that's going to go over here. And they get to do an ops card. So go to the ops pile, and they get grey ops. Play only if the runner made a run this turn, do 1 net damage. Didn't do a run, so that's going to go off. Okay, my turn. I guess I should do a run now. Is there anything? Yeah. I'm going to get some cards first. I'm going to get 2 cards. Well, I'll get 1 card to see what it is. Ooh, modded. Okay. And then I will... You know what? I'm going to grab another card, because I only have to go down to cards when I... Oh, that's handy. I don't want to lose that Armitage. Oh, let's do a run. Okay, so I'm going to make a run on this one. We'll see how it goes. I'm a bit worried about this advancement, so I'll do tinkering. So choose a piece of ice, that one there. It gains Sentry, Code Gate, and Barrier till the end of turn, which means I can... Oops. No, I'm not going to do that. Take back. I am going to spend a turn and get some money using that one, because otherwise I would have been dead. And no one wants that. Okay, now I'm going to do it. I'm going to run at that one, and we'll put Code Geek on it. So what happens now is, because I'm doing a run on it, you have a look at it, and it can be rezzed for 3. And so if the core can, it will res it. And it's a barrier, ice. It's just got an end of run, which is pretty weak. I will use my strength 3, so I need 1 to up my strength, and then 2 will break it. So I'm through, and we get, for our efforts, an asset. Okay, and so it has a cost of 1, so it'll be rezzed, well, active. Oh wow, okay. So this isn't the greatest one for the Automata. I'm probably going to go through and replace this one, because this is 3 actions, gain 7. It doesn't need the money, but it just sits there unless I want to trash it. I'm going to trash it because I can, for 1, just to get it out of the way, and that should leave a space for a bit more ice, another server to go in, and then I'm done. Now's the time for the... So 3 more turns and I've lost. Unless I can steal some of the tiles. and we get an H. Okay, and because there's no H there, it's one of my tiles, I get to choose where it goes. I'm going to put it here under Ops, put it on that one. They're going to get 4 credits because it's got a 4 value, and they're going to do an Ops card. Let's hope it's nothing too, because I don't want the advance and I don't want more ice. And so this is pay 5, gain 9. So for 1, it gets another 5. The Corp gets a lot of money. And that's the end of their turn. Right, my turn. I think I'm going to install Armitage. Oh, I haven't got any money. I'm going to spend 1 action to gain 2. And then I'm going to spend 1 to get Armitage, which will give me a bit of cash. So that cost me an action. Yeah, I don't fancy I'm gonna spend an action to grab 2. And we've got an H there, so I think we should go for it. That being said, what have I got? Oh, I can break anything with this one. Maybe I'll grab another 2 off there. Oh no, that'll be my last action for this turn. So either I make a run or I don't make a run. Yeah. Once it's got strength of 0. Yeah, that's not a good idea. I'm going to take 2 more off here. Just so I'm a bit prepared for next time and hope that doesn't come back and bite me. Corp's turn. I better get an agenda, otherwise I'm going to be dead. So there's an A. So, oh, that's probably the worst one. I get 2 advancement tokens that are sitting there waiting to be used. Okay, so my turn. I'm going to draw a card. Tinkering, perfect. I'm going to draw another card. I think I'm going to take some damage. Then I'm going to play Tinkering on there to make it a code gate. And then my last action, I'm going to run on it. And when I run on it, it is a Hunter Sentry. But that's okay. I turned it into a code gate. It's going to cost them 1 to res it. Strength 4 trace. I probably should try and break it. So that's got 2, 3, 4, 1 to break. So that's on through. Get rid of that, and we get an agenda. Okay, so it's a 3, so I get to take 3 tiles. So I'm going to take the H and the R, and so this is then giving me a bit more time. I'll take the S. So now this is where it gets a little bit messy. Where are my cards? Okay, so the H and the R go in, no problem at all. The S, I have to decide where I'm going to put it. I'll probably put it there because hopefully I can get an O later. And that's going to take me 2 net damage. 1 for the tile being in the wrong place and 1 for the board being in the wrong place. So net damage is a random card. That's 2. And then this one says whenever an agenda is stolen or scored, do 1 net damage. So I take another net damage. So that took 3 net damage, so they're discarded. But I'm not dead yet. And I'm 1 away from winning. But then I've got a problem because if I can't place them, I have to take net damage. So I had to take that on board as well. So if this had been a bigger agenda, it was only a 3. If it had been like a 5, I'd probably be dead. And there we go, that's exactly what I needed. So they get 1, and they get to do an op card, and their op card is hedge fund. So they just get a little more money, which is fine. Oh, and I did that wrong, didn't I? Oh yeah, no, I did okay, because I just thought I didn't do the advanced tokens, but this takes 5 to score, and I've only got 4. So again, that was a good one for me, because I could steal it before they could. If this had been of value 4 or less, it would have burnt through the advancement tokens, and I would have lost. I wouldn't have got it. Okay, now it's my turn. I am going to grab some cards. I'll get 2 cards. Ooh, 5 for 10. Oh, then I'll get some money. And I don't have enough for that because I need 5. I'm going to get some. I'll do some more money. Okay, so that's 3 for there and 2 for me. And that's the end of my 4 actions. Right. Let's see what it gets an R. So they get 1. They get a server. I play it that they get a server from left to right, so they're going to get a server in there. And then they're going to get a bit of ice. And the ice is going to go 1, least protected, which is probably... Sometimes you got to, what would the court do? If the least protected, those 2 are the same, but that one's hidden. So I think this one is actually the least protected. So it would put the ice there. Then it's my go. Okay, so I've got 5, so I can play this 5 get 9, which is pretty much means I get 4. So now I'm all raised up. I get 1, 2 cards. 1, 2 cards. I'm gonna have a run on this one because I've got my Cryptus, so that would be my last action. Let's see. It's an Enigma, so it's going to cost them 3 to res it. As you see, the Corp doesn't have a, and so it's got 2 on it, and it's only a strength 2, strength 0, so it's going to cost me 2 to updo it, then 2 to break the things. To break a subroutine ends. Yeah, okay, so I lose that, but that's fine because I'm through. And I get, ooh, that's an agenda. But see now, this has got a 4 point, it's got 4 advancement tokens. So it scores it. And I don't get it, which is annoying. And that could go. Had to be done though, because then I can do it next turn potentially. And that was the end of my turn. And that would have been a good one too, because it was only 2, so I would have taken a bit of net damage. Now this is the Corp's next go, and they get a P. So they get 3. 1, 2, 3. And they're going to get a bit of ice. And they're going to win next turn. So they get ice 1, least protected, which is probably, it makes not a lot of difference, probably going to get that one. Then, what did I get? It was P, wasn't it? Ice, then ops, which is, oh, whenever agenda is scored or stolen, I should have taken a net damage when they scored it. Okay, operation. Place 1 advancement token on each of up to 2 different installed cards that can be advanced. So I'm going to read that is that it gets, I think it's only going to get 1. because if it had 2 servers, it would make sense it would get 2, but it's only got 1 installed that could be advanced, so technically it should only get 1. And then the last for the P is an upgrade. And the upgrade costs them 1 to install it. Upgrades go across all the servers. So again, this is a little bit of an advantage for the core player. But so this one is the cost of res ice protecting all servers is now lowered by 2. It's got truckloads of money, so it's a non-issue. But in other games, it may be. I'm thinking of swapping that one out. Anyhow, my turn. Do or die, really. If that's not useful, it's going to win the next round. So I will grab a card. Hope that's tinkering. These will draw 5 cards. 3 cards. I'm going to do that actually. So that's my second. I'll get 3 cards. Okay, then I'll do my, what have I got? Have I got enough money? If I'm going to break everything, that's a code gate. That's a barrier. +1 strength for the remainder of this run. Okay, so maybe I'll do that. Oh, that was 2 actions. My third action. Should I just do it with money? When this piece of ice that you use to break Andrew. Now I'm going to put a token on there. And then we'll run on this one. And we hit a hunter. So they'll res that for 1. Well, it's going to cost them nothing. And that's a 4 for a trace. It hasn't got to end. I'm not going to care about that. Give me a tag. I'm tagged. Do your worst. Then I'm going to hit that one, which is an end of run, but it's strength 3, so it costs me 3 and then 1 to break it. And I lose my virus counter. And we're through. And we get, oh, it's an agenda. Perfect. They can't win it. It's a 2. So I get 2. So I'm going to grab the O. And then I grab the 1, which I can't place. So that's going to cost me 1 net damage. So that'd be that. And because I scored, I will take another net damage. And it's not about agenda points, it's about completing the code, which I did. And I still had 4 cards left. That was my last action. But as you saw, it was getting very close with the Corp, so I would have lost the next turn. If that had been an asset, it would have been all over. So there you go. There is a playthrough of cracking the code, the solo Netrunner against an automated Corp. The neat thing is you don't have to, pretty much the runner plays normally. The Corp decks are pretty similar. I'm inclined, I'll just show you move these off so you can see the, see you've got tells you what each pile is. Because this is R&D, everything runs through there, and then you roll a die. You grab a token to determine which one you access. Cards that change hand size or allow the corporations to look at top cards isn't very useful. I usually swap those out. So you end up with a kind of a customized Corp deck, but that's fine. You don't typically put any ice on the archive because you don't discard, but if that does happen, you play this as if the Corp is somehow evolving. And so if anything useful goes into the archive or the runs are being made on the archive, it will start putting ice there. Anyway, hope you enjoyed. The last thing, if you're interested in this, there are a whole lot of different scenarios. So this one was the medium one. There's 2 hard, and this one looks very hard. Again, if there's less mapping between what you need and what they have, you're taking more net damage and it's going to take longer. And these are on different decks as well, so that's across the different corporations. So there's a story. So there's lots of variety if you want to play Netrunner solo. Hope you enjoyed. Don't forget to subscribe and like.